Hello and welcome back again, Commanders and Commanderettes. Chesty Puller here with my final video for the Wolfpacks event. This is for the Commander 1 and 2 set. This is my speed run. I think it's doable by most players. We're using basically just air and a little bit of ground intervention in the beginning of the number 2 base. But other than that, it's just air. So do remember to make sure you have your shock op on. Um, I'm going to start out here with Prometheus and Richard, and I'm just going to use Richard sporadically to try and help take out some of the turrets and things like this. But I want to show you a really cool trick here. If you bring in Prometheus and Forest at the same time, it really works well because Forest pumps out about twice the amount of foot soldiers that Prometheus does, and when you have Prometheus and Forest, it just kind of overwhelms the defenses of whatever base you're attacking. So I just wanted to clear out this bottom section, and I wanted to see if I could sneak up on one of these tanks. The Lionhearts do not shoot anywhere near as powerful as Richard. It's like he's 10 times more powerful. But let me just show you here what happens when you bring in Richard and Forrest and kind of like uh, keep them close by each other. Look how many units Forrest is pumping out. And now Forrest units disappear after a short period of time, so you can't have them like far away. You got to have them pretty close. And now I'm just going to bring in some of the level 1 Lionhearts that I have just to try to help out. And I thought that this guy was distracted, but he started chasing me. You don't want to get hit by uh, those mechanized infantry. You should be able to sneak up on tanks with the Lionhearts, and as long as you shock them before they shoot, you should be okay. And the turrets don't seem to do much damage at all. The turrets seem to be doing what I estimate to be about 2 seconds of damage before you shock them. So, I mean, you can do a whole bunch of turrets and not take very much damage. But I am using units that are in different platoons. As an example, Richard is in Delta platoon, so I was bringing the Lionhearts in from Alpha and Bravo. Um, and I really didn't want to use Alpha because I plan sometimes to use Albert Ross, and he's in Alpha. So um, I put Albert Ross in Alpha because he begins with an A. I put Daedalus in Delta because it begins with a D. It's just easier for me to remember. And some of the strange ones, like the Prometheus, I just put that in the Tango platoon. Um, I also put Richard in Delta just because he fit there, and I had room without moving things around, and there is no R platoon. So, but it's funny how a lot of them, Aegis and so forth, begins with an A, and I got that one in Alpha, just so I can remember. If you can remember the name, you mostly can remember what platoon they're in. I will tell you this: without the screamer on this base, the Richard does much better, and I really do like using him. Now that we've got pretty much the base under control, I'm going to bring Richard back in and get rid of the Forest. The reason you you can't have two heroes at the same time, and both Richard and Forrest are heroes, so you have to make a choice. Now, if you wanted to, I do believe that just Prometheus and Forrest could clear this base, It would take a little bit longer, but remember, you can end attack on this number one base, and it will it'll still be there. You won't lose your progress. The number two base, you have to finish it. Makes it a little bit more difficult. See, I snuck up on that tank before he could shoot, and I wasn't worried about the turrets so much. I was worried about the tank. So I don't mind getting hit by the turrets. Like I said, as long as you got the shock op on, each turret will do about 2 seconds of damage to Richard, and so it's not that big of a deal. If they just keep shooting you, and you don't have it shocked, that can add up. And at this point, I could have brought in Albert Ross to finish up cleaning up the base, but I just went ahead and did it with Richard because he was right there. Albert Ross does it much faster though. I mean, he just flies over and everything's dead. And he's in a completely different platoon, so that would have actually reduced my damage on my Richard. But it's fine. Um, it took like an extra second there to use Richard. So that's free repair, and that's a very, very easy way to do the commander base. And and now we'll go ahead and do the commander 2. Now you don't need to use the Gravedigger. I am using the Gravedigger here just as an extra distraction. But if you'll remember, as long you can just use um, Cosmortars because the Cosmortars move and shoot, and as long as you're moving, you will kill these buggies and they won't be able to shoot you. But you have to keep moving. If you stop, they'll shoot you, but it won't be much damage. Those buggies don't do too much damage. And then what you want to do is let the helicopters retreat just a little bit so that you get a little bit of room to move. I'm going to bring in Devin here. You can use Devin. You can use Brother Devin. I'm using Brother Devin. I'm going to bring the Prometheus back in, and then I'm going to bring Richard and move Richard forward so that Richard is taking the hit and not Prometheus. And Brother Devin, it will usually take a shot or two also, but there's splash or something that gets to Brother Devin because really they should be shooting his his drones, but they somehow splash onto him. Then I'm going to take the foot soldiers from the Prometheus and take out the tower. See the tower there in the middle? Number one priority. There are mechanized infantry in there. I don't know how many, but I think there's at least 3 mechanized infantry in there. And with their missiles, they're already powerful. But, as you know, the tower gives them a bonus. It gives them a range bonus. It gives them a damage bonus. So you don't want them to be shooting you from that tower. So once the foot soldiers shock the tanks and distract the mechanized infantry, you can bring Richard in. Don't even bother using the Prometheus for this. He's just way too slow. But even with the Screamer in here, the Richard moves fairly fast. The Prometheus does not, though. So this guy, he gets a shot off on me. I did not know that I was in his range. I thought I was out of his range, but I barely escaped that cloud. I think that cloud might have done some damage to me. Don't stay in that cloud because I promise you he will do damage to anything in that cloud, including air. Okay, so But as long as you get the tank shocked or distracted or something like that, you should be able to come in with Richard and take him out. And then right here, move and shoot. Oh man, he had time to get a shot off. But go to the side. Don't go backwards because that doesn't seem to work. Go to the side. You can move quicker. Remember, you can grab these foot soldiers and do with them whatever you want. It's like they're real units, and you can target whatever you want, but you gotta physically or manually grab them, and then you can control them. And I wanted to take these hunters out over here, or at least shock the hunters. And there's also this mechanized infantry right here. Now here's some interesting thing. The mechanized infantry cannot outrange. Look at the range on these foot soldiers. The mechanized infantry cannot outrange the foot soldiers. However, he can outrange the Richard. So what is his name? Sir Richard or Richard the Lionheart? Richard the Lionheart. Okay. So he can outrange the Richard, and he also can outrange the Prometheus. So what you want to do is get the Prometheus in the back right corner. And the reason for that is because the foot soldiers can't cross the river right there. But if the Prometheus can get past that little archway right there, you see that archway, the blue archway with the gate on it, right where the 3 Hunter missiles used to be. Um, if he can get past that archway, he's totally safe back there. Um, then the foot soldiers can come down and walk right across onto the island. So you want to get him back over here past the archway, at least past the archway. And eventually, those foot soldiers will disappear, by the way. Now, I just went in there with the Richard and took out the screamer, but the range on your foot soldiers is so long that you can go in and take it out with the foot soldiers very easily. I just got impatient and I just didn't want to wait for the foot soldiers, so I just went in and took out the. But pay attention to the angle that I came in, about that same angle that I'm at right now. That's the angle you want to come in when you take out the screamer. But it's kind of dangerous to come in with your Richard like this. You know, you got um, mechanized infantry and so forth in there. You saw that they were shooting at me. I think I got hit by a missile, and you can only take about 3 hits from the mechanized infantry, and then it's not free repair anymore. But I should be able to sneak up on that tank before he shoots and kill him. But really, your main pardon me, your main focus here are the mechanized infantry and the tanks. Really, nothing else on this base can do much damage. So I'm just picking the base off, little piece at a time. I want to see if I can hit this. He's kind of hiding behind this stuff, so I can't target him very good. Yeah, I didn't target him properly. If I had targeted him properly, I would have been able to get out of his shot there. You saw I didn't target him properly. He did hit me, so that's the second hit I've taken. Um, like I said, about 3 hits is all you can take. So now I really don't want to take too much more damage. but this base is almost completely under control. You could bring in Albert Ross at this time. Um, the one thing that Albert Ross, he can take out one or two of the mechanized infantry, particularly if they're already weak like this guy is. And I could have brought Albert Ross in right now, and I don't think that mechanized infantry would have hurt him. Um, but I was waiting for the foot soldiers to take out that guy, so I didn't have to take a chance. Now I'm going to bring the Albert Ross in, and what I did is I thought that Albert Ross would just go on his own, but he's just circling around over here, getting shot by the hunters, and I kept targeting things, and I didn't realize I actually had selected the foot soldiers and not the Albert Ross. I was trying to get the Albert Ross to come over, and but I didn't have control of him at that moment. Now I got control of Albert Ross, and we'll take out everything that we can. Fortunately, it's still repair, even though I just had him sitting over there getting shot over and over by that hunter. That's just an example, you know. He was sitting there just doing circles right in front of that hunter, and that hunter just kept firing at him. But, you know, it didn't do much damage. Now, just to finish the last few things, I'm bringing in a regular Lionheart from a different platoon, and we're just gonna finish it off because my Albert Ross can't shoot uh, floaters yet because he's not a level 20. He's a level 17, I think. So that's that. That's my speed run. That's pretty much how I'm doing it, and you know that's basically just air. It's real easy, and it's instant repair. It's a little monotonous actually. I'm a little bit bored, so I'm going to take a break now. But hope it helps. See you next time, guys. See you next event.